Well, hello, everybody. This is Pastor Dave Bryan from the Church of Glad Tidings in Yuba City, California. And I'm here at the studio of my friend Lewis Herms and his ministry, which I think we all love the name. It's Screw Big Gov. But anyway, I love Lewis. He's a great guy. And I'm thankful that he's letting us use his studio here today. But we have a special guest on, and that's Cathy O'Brien. And she's going to be talking a little bit about her life and her passion to rescue uh, kids from sex trafficking, and for that matter, anybody of any age from sex trafficking. And Cathy's going to be one of our guests at the Rev 17 conference. I'll be talking a little bit about the details on that. And that Rev 17 conference is designed, first of all, to get the information out. There's still a lot of people who have no idea what's going on beneath a very shallow veneer uh, in the United States. There's a tremendous amount of evil just under the surface. We'll be talking about that. The Rev 17 conference. We'll be doing our best to expose that, to capture it on film, and to flood the social media platforms and flood the airwaves to help people wake up so that they can be a part of the solution. And then that in turn, the Rev 17 is a fundraiser to buy a minimum security women's prison in Live Oak, California. And we're going to transfer the purpose of that from a low security women's prison. We're going to transform it into a beautiful setting for children that are rescued from sex trafficking. So we're calling that the Peace of Heaven Children's Paradise. And so the facility, 10-acre facility, will be transformed from a prison to a paradise. And then we're trusting God and working together to see the lives of these children transformed from really from being snatched from the jaws of hell to being blessed with a setting that will be as close to heaven on earth as we can possibly make it. And that's Peace of Heaven Children's Paradise. So that's what we're here to talk about. But again, Cathy, thank you so much for joining us. Say hi to everybody and tell us a little bit about your passion and why this is important to you.
Well, I'm so honored to be a part of this divine opportunity to not only raise awareness, but to actually take action. The children can't wait for our corrupted system to clean up. It's up to us
That's
to
right.
to dare to care and take action today on their behalf. So I'm so happy to be part of this. This has been going on my whole life. I am a survivor of CIA MK Ultra mind control. I was trafficked as a toddler to politicians, and I am acutely aware of the corruption in our system that has allowed for this to go on for so long. In 1988, when I was lifted out of the Washington, D.C. human trafficking swamp by intelligence insider Mark Phillips, I began speaking out and raising awareness out of love for the children, out of love for humanity, and out of love for my own daughter, who had been taken into the corrupted Child Protective Services and abused even further. So I need to raise awareness all the way back in 1988. I've been experiencing this horrific crime against children and against humanity my whole life. And I will continue speaking out until this crime is stopped. So that's what compels me.
Yeah. Well, that is a beautiful testimony. I want to thank you, and I know that you've had a price to pay. Um, you have been speaking out about these things since what year?
Since 1988.
1988. So hardly anyone was speaking out about it in 1988. I'm sure that you have had a steep price to pay probably most of those years you've been called a conspiracy theorist or a fraud or whatever. Tell us a little bit about what your journey's been like as you have really just tried to use your own story to help rescue others. But what kind of pushback have you gotten over the years?
Well, I realized when I began speaking out and trying to get help for my daughter how ignorant society was as to what was going on. They were ignorant of the corruption that had permeated our own government and eroded our constitutional values of freedom and justice for all. They were ignorant of what was being done to our child protective services and how our justice system was totally corrupted to allow for the proliferation of pedophilia, because the pedophile agenda is a mind control agenda, and mind control is a tool for ushering in a globalist slave society agenda that has been slowly creeping in for a long, long time. So, people were very ignorant. I considered it seeds of truth planted. Truth is sacred, truth is divine, it's got an
Right.
energy of its own, and it never goes away. So I just
Beautiful,
continue to
Cathy.
stand by that truth.
That's beautiful. Now you had been MK Ultra and you had been trafficked as a child. Were your parents CIA or military, or how did you, as a child, get into that setting originally?
Well, my father was sexually and ritually abused as a child, and my mother was sexually abused and was being trafficked to my grandfather's Blue Masonic Lodge, where all the local politicians and law enforcement hung out. So by the time I was born into it, the multi-generational MK Ultra project Monarch is the one that ultimately I was targeted for because of the multi-generational aspect. And my father's sexual abuse began in infancy. It included child pornography. When he extended it into child pornography, he was caught sending it through the U.S. mails. And when he was a local politician that I'd been trafficked to ever since I was a little bitty toddler at my grandfather's Blue Masonic Lodge, approached my father and told him he could receive immunity from prosecution if he would sell me into the CIA's MK Ultra mind control project. So he did, and it shows how corrupt our system has been. That was all the way back in 1960. National security was invoked on it. That local politician was Gerald Ford. He went on to become the unelected president of the United States. As his political career escalated, so too did my victimization in MK Ultra, until I was being trafficked on a White House Pentagon level. And that's, just briefly how that came to be. But it was the multi-generational aspect and the sanctioning of the pedophile agenda that thrust me into the project.
Right. Now, Cathy, a lot of people these days have heard a little something about what you're talking about, but many, many others probably have no idea what you're talking about. But you've unwrapped the fact that many times it's multi-generational, and they get so many hooks in you and angles against you that you're trapped, and they're trapped for generations on end. Uh, then what happened with your daughter? You had a daughter that you saw them taking it down the same road, and was that through like child protective services initially, or how did that happen?
My daughter was born into the project, and I couldn't think to protect her any more than I could think to save myself.
Right.
Because mind control is absolute.
Yes.
And it was found, the formula for mind control is the same, whether it's of an individual, a nation, a classroom, a military, or the world. Trauma is the basis of it. And there's no trauma more horrific on the human mind than sexual abuse of a child prior to age 5 while the brain is still forming. Yeah. So my daughter was thrust directly into it. And for me, that was the most torturous thing I've ever experienced, was not being able to protect my own child. I did everything I could to try to protect her. In later years, she told me she did that for me too. We were told that if we took the abuse, the other would be spared, and of course that never happened that way. But there's nothing more powerful than a mother's love. And I really believe that's why I survived, how I survived. And I am so blessed to have been able to start making a powerful difference for her, in spite of the fact that she was later thrown in to the Child Protective Services. But we have all been blessed with resiliency of body, mind, and spirit. My daughter certainly was experiencing that too, and was able to heal against all odds, because Pastor Dave, what happens to us in life is not who we are. Who we are is still within us, and that is protected by the saving grace of the strength of the human spirit, that infinite power of love. And that makes it where no matter what happens to us in life, we can heal. And in spite of my daughter's compound felony, she has healed. She's just brilliant, living the love she is and living her life's purpose on her divine path, the same that I am. We all can do that. That's the hope for the children.
Awesome. Well, on behalf of everybody that's listening, we just want to extend our love and thanks to you. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for hanging in there and becoming really, as Christ taught us, a light in the darkness. And so I just have the highest respect for you. I've just recently met you, but I've heard of you for many, many years. And just very, very thankful that you've been willing to pay the price. Truth always comes with the price. That's why Scripture says, buy the truth and never forsake it. And I just want to commend you for being that person. And we all thank God for you and for your testimony. I wanted to have you just unpack something that you've mentioned a couple of times, and that's that Child Protective Services was working with nefarious powers to control people. And the reason I'm bringing this up, Cathy, is, as you know, many people, though what happened with the COVID con really, I think, changed the world's perception of authority in the United States, right? Follow the science. Then eventually, and if you're listening to this and haven't figured this out yet, please do some homework, do some research. But there was a great awakening that happened when people discovered that the people saying follow the science were not following science, and when they promised that what they were offering would help you, they knew that it would at least harm you, possibly injure you beyond recovery, and quite possibly kill you. That's become so evident at such a widespread level today that at least now in this awakening that we're experiencing, which I know you're thrilled with it, I certainly am, um, but but now people are more open to the fact that an agency that is thought to do good and is advertised as a do-gooder organization, but often they're uh, explicitly involved in an evil and manipulation. And again, no organization could you say that everybody is implicated at the same level of complicity. But the point is that millions of Americans have thought Child Protective Services is protecting children. But speak to your experience on that. And the reason I'm bringing it up, Cathy, is we're in Northern California. People are asking us with the Peace of Heaven Project, are you working with the local Child Protective Services? And it's like, oh my goodness, apparently you don't know. No, we're not. We're working specifically against California's Child Protective Services because though there are good people involved, the system is corrupt. And so from your experience and what you've been through and your daughter, talk to us a little bit about the corruption of the systems that we're fighting against in America.
Wow, yeah, mind control masters of virus definitely opened a lot of eyes to how permeated our system is with this kind of corruption. And
Yes.
it all goes back to a globalist agenda that really doesn't want us thinking free, because we would never tolerate the kind of corruption that they've allowed to creep in so that they could capitalize on it. And Child Protective Services got corrupted. What I witnessed and experienced in the mid 80s, when the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children was set up in the FBI building, the Hoover building in Washington, D.C., as a catch net operation for trafficked children. The trafficking of children has been pervasive my whole life. And by the 80s, there were some children that were emerging from that situation, and they needed to shut them up and bring them back in. So that was the original structure on that. So the FBI was complicit. And, when you consider how the FBI is structured, it's not hard to see. It's not that everybody's involved and everybody even knows what's going on,
Right.
because you get one corrupt director at the top, and all the agents do as they're told and follow what they're supposed to do. It went into the Child Protective Services. It went into the court system. It permeated all branches of law enforcement, because even local law enforcement, our police forces, have to answer to the FBI when the FBI steps in and invokes national security on a case and takes it over. So one corrupt person at the top of that, and you got corruption permeating all the way through an industry by people blindly following orders rather than, researching for themselves, opening their eyes and seeing what's really happening. So it's not that there's that many bad people. It's just that the system has been corrupted for such a long, long time. Now we've got an opportunity to clean the system up. And I'm excited to have heard our director, Kash Patel, say he was going to turn that Hoover building into a deep state museum. Yes, do it so that we never have this problem again. But in the meantime, Pastor Dave, like I know, these children can't wait for the extent of this corrupt system to clean up. So we've got a ways to go in order for that to happen. And it's up to us to raise awareness, educate people, let them know what's going on, and take action for the children. That's why I respect so much what you are doing and the difference that you're making right there. It's phenomenal.
Well, thank you, Cathy. And the simple truth is none of us is as good as all of us. If we all work together, I say it this way, bring your present to the party. Everybody has something to offer. And thankfully, none of us have to do it all. But if we will work together, we can do what we need to do to defeat this. And so, for those that are listening, again, Cathy's coming out to join us June 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Starts on a Friday night, goes all day Saturday, and until the afternoon on Sunday. And we're bringing together, not all, but we've done our best to get people that are from all different backgrounds. The thing that they have in common is they understand the pervasive evil that we are facing in the exploitation of children. It's a terrible thing. It's worldwide. It's right under our noses. And so we're bringing together some of the best that can share their testimonies, like you, Cathy, and share their expertise and what they're doing. And we're bringing everybody together for a couple of reasons, but one of them is we want to record this, and fortunately we can these days. We can record it and then share all the information between all the presenters and use social media and our podcasting and whatnot to get the information out there. There's an old saying, people are down on what they're not up on. And of course, you have the scars to prove your testimony, but and probably never would have asked for that path to travel, but at least you know what's going on, and you're able to bring your testimony to bear on turning this thing around. And of course, for me, Cathy, I grew up on a ranch in Idaho, and I moved to Northern California. I had no idea what was down the rabbit hole. And so I have compassion for people that um, they they don't believe what's going on simply because it's so far removed from what they would ever imagine as a human being. Who would intentionally hurt a child? Uh, but but that brings me to the big picture of what we're promoting, and that's that we're promoting an awareness that the world, beneath the thin veneer, there is a raging battle between the forces of good and evil, and it pervades everything. But there is ultimate good that we pray to and worship and call God, and there is ultimate evil that is there's no virtue or no good or anything, and the forces of darkness, and there's this conflict, and people are caught in the middle of it. If you don't understand that, you just can't imagine why any human being would hurt a precious baby. But the point is, there are malevolent, powerful, evil forces that are trying to destroy mankind out of their their extreme hatred and animosity toward the Creator God. And of course, we're made in His image and likeness, and we're all precious to Him. But the purest and the most precious, and because of that, the most closely reflective of His image is a little child. That's why Jesus said, "Allow the little children to come to me. Don't forbid them. The kingdom of heaven is for these little ones. Of such is the kingdom of heaven." So anyway, there's this war raging. We're caught in the middle of it. We really need to wake up and smell the coffee. And that's why we're bringing together these presenters that have a vital story to be told. We'll meet together again June 20th, 21st, and 22nd, the Church of Glad Tidings in Yuba City in Northern California. And we'll record this, and then we'll do our very best to get the information out there in reels and clips and however we can, to add to what's already begun to happen. Thank God for that, Cathy. But there's already an awakening that's happening, and for people like you, it's about time, right? But for many people, it's still startling. Like, how could people in law enforcement, for instance, how could Catholic priests or ministers, how could people that have committed their lives to working with children, how could they be corrupted to the point that they're in on this egregious evil against children? So we're trying to do our part to be part of that wake up call. And I want to just comment on this. And Cathy, I know that you know enough to understand this, but for people who are listening, we decided to try to bring everybody together so that we could join our strengths and cover each other's weaknesses, and provide the information that is so necessary for a wake up call, and then record that and get that out there. But we're doing it as a fundraiser for what we call Peace of Heaven Children's Paradise. And so, of course, I've been pastoring the Church of Glad Tidings for almost 39 years now. And our ministry motto is find a need and hurt it. Find a need and meet it, find a hurt and heal it. And so that's taken us into prisons and juvenile hall and onto the street to help the homeless. And and many, many other things. We have drug rehabs, et cetera, et cetera. But um, recently, God has just really burdened my heart to do everything that we can to help resolve the problem with rescuing these children. And it wasn't that long ago that I had a high level military officer tell me, Dave, if you really want to help stop child trafficking, find a place for these children to recover. We don't have homes to take them to. And, everybody thinks, well, find out who their mom was and, take them back home. You know this. I know this, but for those that are listening, much of the problem in child trafficking is parents who sell their own children into trafficking. And because of that, of course, we would never take those children back into that setting, which was so dysfunctional in the first place. So we've set our sights on a 10-acre facility. It was formerly a minimum security women's prison called the Leo Chesney Center in Live Oak, California, just 5 miles north of the church. We wanted to buy that facility, and because it was minimum security, there's no cells and no bars. It's just a big, secure potential dwelling, right? So we want to take what was once seen as a prison, we want to transform it into a paradise and to just make it beautiful and just a glimpse of heaven on earth. And then we want to see that facility used for children who have no place else to go. Of course, you know, Cathy, that this is such an intense subject that people who are rescued, whether they're little ones or teenagers or young women, everybody's they have a different road to recovery, and sometimes they need 24/7 medical care for a while, and there's many different settings, but if we all fill our niche, we can get this done. And so the vision that God put in my heart is to help have a home. And we'll be able, when we get this up and running at its full capacity, to have hundreds of children. But we will love them and feed them and care for them and give them a place to call their own that is as much like heaven as we can make that. And we'll educate them. My wife and I raised 3 boys. They're all very successful in life. We know what it takes to raise a child, and there's so many things beside room and board. There's love and nurturing and guidance and education and on it goes. But we're willing to jump through all those hoops and to galvanize a team that can do that and fill that niche that is so necessary. And I made a commitment when this military man called me, and he said, we rescued hundreds of children recently, and they went back into child protective services because we had nowhere else to take them. And I remember, Cathy, I pushed everything off my desk, and I prayed. I put my head down on the desk. I said, God, I don't want to ever face this situation again and say, I'm sorry, even though our motto is find a need and meet it, find a hurt and heal it. In the face of this urgent need, we have nothing to bring to the table. And I thought, twice is too much in one lifetime to face that. So I just made it a priority with the help of God. And of course, a project this size, we really need the help of God. But with the help of God, we're going to have a solution, a Christ honoring solution for this urgent need. And so that is what we will call peace of heaven. Remember, it's 70s type peace, right? Not like a piece of pie, but peace and love, right? Peace of heaven .life. And I want to encourage you to go there. You can find out how to be involved, what to pray for, how to help us. We need everything from A to Z, but specifically right now, we need people who believe in this dream. I just want to say this. The reason we're calling it Peace of Heaven is these children are being snatched out of the jaws of hell. These children have experienced as close to hell as you can experience on the blue planet. And we want to take them out of that, and we want to take them into something that is as close to heaven as you can experience on the blue planet. And so we're calling it Peace of Heaven. Now we need a miracle. We need your help, and we need God's help. Yes, but God's method is men. He uses men and women to do His will, and so we have until the end of June to come up with a little over $2 million to buy this facility. We've taken in. Nearly that, and we have a significant amount in matching funds that is waiting for somebody to respond in kind. But essentially, let's just round off to about $2 million. We need it by the end of June so that we can purchase this facility, and then we'll start filling out the myriad of details to revamp the facility and get the staff and begin taking kids in. But go to peaceofheaven.life and see what you can do to help. If you can help us financially, please do. If you can share the link with friends, please do. Certainly, you can pray for us. You can find out information about the Rev 17 conference. You can come and you can hear Cathy. She'll be sharing her story, and many, many others. Laura Logan will be there, and Mike Smith will be there, and Bazzel Tina Baz, and our mutual friend Craig Sawyer will be there, and many other people, Dr. Doug Frank. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time. And so please go to peaceofheaven.life and sign up for the Rev 17, or you can go to churchofgladtidings.com. Again, Cheryl and I have pastored the Church of Glad Tidings now for almost 40 years. But go to our website, churchofgladtidings.com. Look under the events and buy tickets for the Rev 17 conference. It's important. We all are trying to do our very best. We invite you to join us in that. And you can hear Cathy sharing her testimony. Cathy, we're about to tie a knot here, but before we go, what else would you like to tell our listeners about this problem, or the solution, or the part that you are playing in it, or anything else that's on your mind?
Well, it is time for people to start making the positive, necessary change. We are the ones who are the change we've been waiting for. It's up to us to make that difference. And we have been blessed to be here at this moment in time for a purpose. We need to align with that divine within, look within ourselves, and remember who we are, why we are here, and stepped up to the plate right now for the children's sake, because they can't wait for this system to clean up. They need us to do it. They need a safe place to be. You've got a wonderful opportunity for everyone to be part of creating that safe place, that peace of heaven on earth. We got an opportunity in front of us to start making the positive, necessary change. I have waited a lifetime for this to happen, and I'm so excited. The Great Awakening has reached this point, that awareness has risen to the point of where awareness is a first step towards positive, necessary change. Well, right. We're ready for that change now. Here we go. And the children are certainly ready for us to take this step. I really appreciate what you're doing, and I'm honored to get to be a part of this opportunity.
Well, thank you, Cathy. We love you. We're so proud of you for the part that you played, and for your faithfulness to hang in there when people thought you'd lost your mind and you were making stuff up and blah, blah, blah. You know, they say one step ahead, that you're a hero, but two steps ahead and you're a martyr. And I know that you've had your share of martyrdom over this whole issue, but thank you for hanging in there and for having faith in God and goodness to prevail over evil. I want to end by just saying that we have christened this conference the Rev 17 conference, because in Revelation chapter 17, there is an amazing prophecy, That's the last chapter of the New Testament. And it talks about the end of the age, or the transition of the ages, I should rightfully say, but it talks about a fight between ultimate good and ultimate evil. And the ultimate evil is represented by a mysterious city and by a mysterious woman. The city is called Mystery Babylon, and the woman is called the Whore of Babylon. And that's a depiction of ultimate evil at the end of the age. And this evil depiction that is represented by the Whore of Babylon. It says that she rides a beast, and she has a goblet full of iniquity and full of the blood of the righteous, and she is drunk, and she's saying, I sit as queen over the nations, and nobody will ever be able to stop me. And it's an amazing prophecy. It says that she makes the kings of the earth rich by her trafficking. And then it goes on to talk about her trafficking, essentially anything that you can turn for a dime, right? So it's gold and silver and frankincense and myrrh and precious ointments and blah blah blah. But it crescendos up to the main event. It says, and she traffics in the souls of men. And it's just this chilling view of extreme evil that is making influential people wealthy, because they're using this income stream, to build their own kingdoms. But I always tell people, if you get into a messy prophecy, keep reading, because the good guys always win. And so it goes on to say, and the conference takes its name from this, but in Revelation 17, it says, but she, being the Whore of Babylon, she shall be destroyed in a single day. And the kings of the earth will marvel, saying, what happened to the Whore of Babylon that made us wealthy through her trafficking? And so that's why we've called this conference the Rev 17 conference. That's our hope. And it's well founded. It was prophesied over 2,000 years ago. But, some people hear about prophecies, and they say, well, I hope, I hope that turns out okay. Not us. People like Cathy and I, we say, why not here? Why not now? Why not us? So you mentioned this in similar words, but we are the change that we're hoping for, right? We're the ones that can get off our backsides and say, I'm going to put my whole heart into this, and I'm going to be part of the change. And so Cathy and I want to invite you out to join us for the Rev 17 conference in Yuba City, California, Northern Cal, at the Church of Glad Tidings. Go to churchofgladtidings.com and sign up. You can buy a ticket to the conference for $49 for a 3-day conference. You're not going to find a better deal than that. But come out and join us for this. If for some reason you just can't make it out, then you can watch for us online. The last thing I want to just mention is that Bazzel and Tina Baz will be there. They have a ministry called Association for the Recovery of Children, and they are commonly referred to as the best training in the world to understand child sex trafficking and how to be a part of the solution. And so they're going to be presenters at the conference, again, June 20th, 21st, and 22nd, but beginning on the 23rd, right there at the Embassy of Heaven campus. That's where our church is. They're going to be doing their ARC training. It's a week of training. You can sign up at their website. That's Association for the Recovery of Children, or ARC. You can sign up there, or you can go to the Church of Glad Tidings, and we can get you signed up through our website. But they will be training you on how to recognize a child in distress, how to recognize a groomer, how to recognize the signs of grooming on a child's cell phone, what to look for on the internet, where your kids are searching the internet, and there's all kinds of just insidious traps for them out there these days. They'll help you recognize how to spot a trafficker or a handler or a pedophile, how to spot a child who is with an adult but they're under duress. And so it's the best training in the world. And I want to encourage you to come out and be trained and be equipped to be a part of the army that God is raising up. And so that will be beginning on the 23rd through the 29th. That'll take us to a Saturday night where there will be an official commencement graduation ceremony. Bazzel Tina will be there. We'll celebrate together. And you'll be a certified ARC representative. Bazzel and Tina are trying to get representatives in every county in America that can help in solving this problem. And by gosh and by golly, Cathy, with God's help, we're going to get her done. We are going to be part of the fulfillment of that prophecy that the whore of Babylon that represents child trafficking worldwide will be destroyed in a single day. And when that happens, you and I and all of our friends, we're going to party hardy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So everybody come on out, and you'll be glad you did. And we'll look forward to meeting you at the Rev 17 conference in Yuba City, California, June 20th through the 22nd. God bless you. Remember, wherever you're at, you're part of the solution, or else you're a part of the problem. And so we want to encourage you to be a part of the solution. God bless you, and thanks for listening. We'll see you soon, Cathy.